Interviews and solo sessions with experts in business and health, featuring your host, Dr. Alex Rosa. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to In Your Business with Dr. Alex, where we get all up in your business and your health. Enjoy live interviews and solo sessions with experts in business and health, featuring your host, Dr. Alex Rosa. Let's get into today's episode.
Hey, familia. Welcome to In Your Business with Dr. Alex, where we get all up in your business and your health. And I have an amazing guest today. We're going to be talking about identity, accountability, and becoming unstoppable. And this woman for sure has helped many people unleash and tap into becoming unstoppable. And so if this is the first time that you're joining, welcome. My name is Dr. Alex Rosa. We are streaming to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. We're going to be streaming now. We're going to be streaming later on. So if you're watching live, definitely let us know where in this whole wide world that you are tuning in from. Leave a hashtag live, leave a hashtag replay, and definitely join in on the conversation. Ask questions. This is the time. You have an amazing person to tap to or ask questions to, so definitely take advantage of that today. So I'm going to give a quick shout out to our sponsor today. He is a realtor here in Northeast Ohio, and he is a great sponsor of the show and allowing me to bring this great content to you. So I'm going to put his info up here on the screen. So we give Mr. Eric McKee a huge thank you. So if you're in Northeast Ohio, definitely reach out to him for any of your realty needs. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about identity, accountability, and becoming unstoppable. And I'm going to bring my amazing guest, Miss Linda Hayles, the Linda Hayles, up on stage. Hi, Miss Linda.
Good morning or good afternoon in the East Coast.
Yes. Where are you coming to us from?
Houston, Texas. Literally, I'm coming from Puerto Rico via Houston, Texas.
Yes, exactly. So you were born in Puerto Rico?
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Nice. What part of Puerto Rico?
Well, Rio Piedras, but my parents had a house in Bayamon and they had businesses there until we moved to the United States in 1981.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. My parents were from oh my gosh, where's my mom from? Arecibo. And I can't remember where my dad is from, but they were both born here in the state. Or no, they were born there and then came over when they were kind of like 10 or 11. And they came over here I'm in Ohio, so came over here for steel mill and for all the manufacturing stuff. So that's how we ended up here in Ohio working on all of this.
Wow. I know. It's amazing, the family stories. And I love the fact that, Puerto Rico has been a commonwealth of the U.S. forever. But when I was younger, when I was a kid, you still had to learn English on your own. Now, most Puerto Ricans that are born there, they really are bilingual. So when I came to the United States, I didn't speak English. So
oh my gosh. I love that. So definitely, if you're tuning in, I see little eyeballs here. So if you're tuning in, join in on the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. Say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out. And so Miss Linda Hayles, you are a high performance coach. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you got into that?
Yes. Oh my God. How, everyone wants like this amazing story. How I got into it was I was getting my degree in psychology at 36. I went back to college and being enthralled with everything about human behavior on my own, I discovered people like Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and Ryan Tracy. And when you fall into those people thinking that, oh, I'm looking for psychology, you by mistake stumble on the personal development world.
Mhm.
And I mean, it goes along with psychology and human behavior, because your thoughts, your mind, right, is what creates all of your results. And I'm sure we'll get into that further
Mhm.
on in the conversation. But that's literally how I fell into high performance coaching. I used to really admire what Tony Robbins could do for people from the stage, like literally shift people in the moment, not 90 days from now, or like going to a therapist for 2 years, like now.
Mhm.
And so I was like, what is it that he does? High performance coaching. And so that's how I fell into high performance coaching.
Mhm. Oh, amazing. Yeah, and I think so many people think it takes like such a process for things to change, when in reality it happens in an instant, in a moment. The moment you decide, that's when shit changes for you. And that's, yeah, I've definitely been doing a lot of personal development for years, and that's kind of what has helped with my whole health transformation, kind of where I am today, is a lot of that inner work, a lot of that personal development that they really don't teach you that shit in school or whatever. Like, you really have to go out there and find that for yourself. But that's so incredible. I love that. And I know today how we were talking a little bit before the show started, and you were like, accountability. You said, I'm not the one for accountability. And I wanted to put that up because a lot of people feel like they need more accountability, or they need accountability because they failed, they've struggled, things have never worked out for them because of something that has to do with accountability. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about why you don't do accountability, why that's not your thing. You're not the one to look to for that.
Particularly with my clients, I don't hold anyone accountable. I'm not going to be calling you, hey, did you do this? Hey, you said you were going to do that, right? I provide a place like apps, Voxer, and communication for my client to reach out to me as they're
Mhm.
implementing things, as they're coming up with some mindsets. As Linda, I'm trying to do what you asked me to do, but I got to be honest, this is what I'm thinking and this is how I'm feeling. That's and all of that is self. I can't say, hey, Alex, I told you to do some things and you haven't done them. Can you tell me what you're thinking? What's going on? What do you think is stopping you? Like, that's not the kind of coaching that I do, which is why I do elite coaching. Very, high end is my pricing is high end, because I already work with people who have achieved great things, like a doctorate, like a doctor, like an attorney, like a professor at a university, right? Those people already know how to put in the elbow grease to achieve a result,
Mhm.
right? Those people don't need accountability. What they need is, why am I spinning my wheels trying to get a result? I usually can get results easy. Why is this hard now?
Mhm.
That's the hallmark of a high achiever,
Yeah.
that so many things came to us easy, and then we expect everything else to be easy. And when it cannot be easy, then we're like frustrated.
Mhm.
No, that frustration, that gap between what you want to do and the frustration, that gap, that's where I come in.
Mm.
That's why results can be accelerated. It requires no accountability. It
Right.
requires shifts,
Mhm.
identity shifts, and mindset shifts.
Yes, 100%. And I've experienced that personally by working with you. And I've also experienced that with clients that I've been working with. I can definitely tell the ones that they are on that other level, where the accountability, it's not accountability. It's that mindset shift. It's helping them transition and how they're thinking and what they're doing, so that they can reach those goals that they want to reach, why they wanted to work with me in the first place. So yeah, it's just those little things. And how important is it for people to take ownership of their own actions, of their own outcomes, of what they're doing? How important is ownership? What does that mean to you?
When a person can take ownership of everything, every result in their life, right? We are not talking about, because I know that people love to nitpick. What I'm not saying is that, hey, you were molested as a child, that's your fault. Absolutely, it is not.
Right.
Right? It is not. If you are victimized as a child, or victimized at all, it is not your fault, specifically as a child. I, for example, was in an abusive marriage, and I stayed there for many years because I was scared.
Mhm.
I was scared that I didn't make enough money. I didn't make any money. I was a stay-at-home wife, so I didn't have my own money. So
Mhm.
because I didn't have money, I looked at what rent was. I looked at what the power bill was. Just the regular basic necessities of living on your
Mhm.
own.
Yeah.
I did not have the money to pay a $1,400 rent, power bill, cable, internet, insurance for the car, maintenance on the car, feeding my kids. Like that kept me, that fear, because all I had to do was say, screw this, I'm going to get a job. Mm-hmm. Right? But the fear of not having money is what kept me in that relationship. So doesn't matter why I stayed. I was scared of him and I couldn't make it on my own. It doesn't matter why. I stayed in that relationship and I perpetuated my own abuse. Mm. Now, him hitting me, him abusing me, I did not deserve that or I did not cause that. But once that started and I stayed, I chose that for myself. Mm-hmm. Whether I chose it intentionally, which I did not, or not intentionally. So when you don't take ownership for your life, you become a victim and you blame other people. I'm the only person in my family that takes care of my mom. And now all these things are happening from my mom and my siblings don't care. They don't realize they're taking all my money. Do you see how the victimness is in there? But until you become aware of your behavior, you don't think that's a victim statement. You call your friends and you complain and you don't think that you're being a victim. You're not owning the fact that you could put boundaries and say, I'm going to do this for mom and I'm not going to do these things for mom. Mom, we're going to have to work on what's available for help. What kind of help is out there? My siblings are either going to have to step up or I'm going to have to understand that they're not even an option so that I don't complain and I step into leadership. Mm-hmm. When you're in your leadership, you're not complaining and you're not pointing fingers and making other people responsible for your thing, whatever's going on with you. I'm fat because of the childhood trauma. Okay, great. We understand that. And now you are an adult and you get to choose how you respond to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And that's so much of when it comes, that's such a similarity. And when people come to me and thinking, oh, well, I just want to lose 10 pounds, just want to lose 15 pounds or whatever it is. And I'm like, the pounds are just not even like so much of the issue because there's a reason that has caused you to come to this point in your life with these problems. And you continue to do the same things over and over again. And it's like the common denominator, right? Because it's like the keto and the Atkins and the South Beach and the yada, yada, yada. The common denominator is you. You are the common denominator. So we have to work on you. And I know for myself, like growing up, I was so overweight as a child and into like my young adulthood. And then finally, you know, like the shit really hit me when I had my son and I went into heart failure after having him. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm killing myself literally with food, with my lifestyle, with up here. I was just like tearing myself apart and it was showing physically in all the ways. And it wasn't until I took ownership, stopped being a victim, took ownership and did so much of that inner work. Oh my gosh, the really hard stuff. That's what I had to do. And that's what has made all the difference for me going forward. And I think that's the hugest part, that when you're working with somebody in a holistic way and working on their health and working on their life, that's something so important to tap into and to realize and to help them come to see that's such a huge part of this. So I think not just addressing the physical things, but also the mental and the spiritual and addressing it holistically is so important. But I know that you do that in your work as well. When you're working with women and coaching them and mentoring them, you hit all the bases as well. And I love that about you, because I don't know if sometimes you realize how holistic you really are, Ms. Linda Hayles, when you are coaching and mentoring. You really do. You really hit all those pieces and parts. And I absolutely, absolutely love that. And I want to talk a little bit about, I noticed somebody here in the comments had wrote that mindset. I'm going to actually put her comment up here. She wrote, mindset is a hardship, especially culturally. And I'm wondering if you have any comments about that.
Girl, I could write 3 books, volume 1, 2, and 3. And make a movie and a Netflix series about it. It'll never end.
Yes.
So where do I start? Everyone, obviously everyone has their own life experience and it's not to be invalidated.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm not invalidating anyone's life experience. I'm speaking about my life experience. I'm an only child. part of being an only child, born when my parents were older. Well, my father was in his 40s. And part of that is that when your parents are older, they've already raised all their other kids. So the baby, or, or the one they have in their older age, they get away with a lot of stuff that the other older kids didn't. That's just the truth. Because I think parents are just tired. So I used to talk back to my dad, and he never really gave me slack for it. He actually promoted me speaking up for myself, because being the fact that I was born in his 40s, by the time I was a teenager, he was pushing 60. He knew I was his last kid, and he knew I'm going to die before this child gets to grow up. He would always encourage me, speak up, Linda. I'm not always going to be around to defend you. Speak up. So speaking up, I felt very comfortable speaking up. As long as I wasn't disrespectful, I could speak up. I could negotiate myself out of an ass whooping, because my parents believed in ass whooping. So if you state your case, might not get your ass beat. My father be like, well, that makes sense. I don't think it's right, but I understand it. Like my dad would say stuff like that. So that, as I started getting older, I continued to speak my mind in the way of truth calling. Like I never, if you were, you had bullshit, I would call you on your bullshit. Even my mom, even my dad, who's my real dad, he, had some toxic ways. And I used to tell my mom, why do you stay married to dad? I was 14 when I was calling the truth. But what happens culturally is, be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, children are not supposed to talk like that. Hey, you need to be quiet when adults speak, right? So culturally, we get these behaviors that are put into us, like you're supposed to be quiet. Girls don't talk like that. Girls are not outspoken. A lady doesn't act that way. Stop being disrespectful to your mom, right? But I've always been like, no, I'm gonna overthrow the government. That's some bullshit. And so when you are a truth caller, you get accused of being mean. And so as women, especially in the Hispanic culture, I don't want to be mean. So we're scared to tell our parents, hey, that's some gaslighting shit you're doing. Or hey, you are disrespecting me. Well, you're gonna get gaslit by your parents. Hey, don't tell me that. Hey, be quiet. How you gonna tell me I'm disrespecting you? Go to your room. Right? So culturally, we have all of these things. We don't want to disappoint our parents. I don't believe in that religious shit that was taught to me, whether it was Catholic, Seventh-day Adventist, Pentecostal, which is what I grew up with. I don't love organized religion, in any religion. It's toxic. But God, I believe in God. My parents are preachers. So culturally, it was very difficult to say to my mom, that shit that you taught me in church, none of that is in the Bible. Y'all made that up. Those guilt trips, right? So it can be difficult culturally to shift those mindsets. But when you die, you're going to go to your grave either fulfilled or full of guilt and resentment and bitterness for having not gone after the life that you knew was available for you. So one of the reasons we don't culturally step back, thank you, Dr. Alex, for letting me get this out, it's because we don't want the rejection. Because I'm 50, but I've been doing this all my life. Since my 30s, I was telling my mom what I'm not about to do and what you're not about to do to me. Just this past weekend, I text her about a boundary that she overstepped, and she literally gaslit me, because it's what our culture teaches her. I came to her with a problem, and she said, now I feel bad. I won't be able to sleep tonight. I don't care about that. You need to address the fact that I have a problem and you hurt my feelings. Right? So we don't want to do that, because if I do that, I'm disrespecting my mom. If I do that, my mom is going to get mad at me, and she's going to do what she did to me when I was a kid. She's going to give me the silent treatment. So we seek to avoid pain, so we won't draw the boundary culturally, when in reality, so many of our parents, so much of our culture, whether you're Hispanic, brown, it doesn't matter, man. You're from another country. There's so much toxicity in the way our parents raise us. And I was raised in the United States, and I would tell my dad, we're not in Puerto Rico. That shit doesn't work here. And my father would say, when you come home from school and you close that door behind you, it's Puerto Rico in here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not. So I always knew I was going to be a coach. I should have known.
Yeah.
because I'm a truth teller. And if you're a truth teller,
Mm.
it's gonna always, people are gonna want to shame you
Mm.
because you're rude, you're mean, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not rude or mean. This is your calling in life to tell the truth, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that I went deep into that cultural thing with my own experience and
Mm-hmm.
experience of some of my clients, because I work
Yeah.
with you, Alex. We talk about all
Yeah.
these cultural things.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's why I saw that. And I mean, I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. I mean, with my students, I even see it because I teach at the school and I see it with them. And it's such a shame. And it's like, that's why I love being out here and being visible, even though sometimes, right, we put ourselves out here for everybody to see and everybody have their opinion about. But it's showing a different side, empowering other people, showing them what is possible and what else is out there for them. And it's not always easy and people ain't gonna like it. I know I get a lot of messages, and even from close family can be the most critical of you. But it's you build that strength within yourself and you come out here and you shine and you do what you have to do. And that's why I can so relate with so much of this cultural stuff, because it is very difficult, and and so much of our health issues that we have are all based around this. Our lifestyles and how we grew up and our religion and our culture all impact our health. And it's so sad to see so much of the illness and the sickness that we have is just within all of these. And I know that you and I have talked about this before, and it's like, it's not like we're genetically predisposed to some things more than others. It's just in our mindset and our way of thinking, our way of doing, our way of being, that we have to break out of. And when you're the first one or one of the only ones to do that, it can be very, very difficult. But there's people out here to support you. We're out here to
And
support you.
I want to add this, Dr. Alex,
Yeah.
that in life we've been conditioned to think like, if something makes me mad, if
Mm-hmm.
something is totally against what I learned growing up, then that's awful. I have to turn my back to that. And I don't want to be friends with a person. But the truth is that when you're feeling angry
Mm-hmm.
about something, or you hear something that doesn't align with your cultural upbringing or with your religious upbringing, it's not for you to get mad and walk away. That resistance is literally called resistance. The reason it makes you mad, you resist receiving that.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in resistance, it's not a sign for you to be like, they don't agree with me, I should never listen to those people because they don't believe my religious beliefs, they're wrong. No, it's for you to lean into that resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Your breakthrough and your growth lies in that resistance. That's why one of the things I've been teaching my kids since they were young: when you get older, question everything I've taught you, everything.
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't work for you, leave it and take
Mm-hmm.
the good stuff. Question
Mm-hmm.
everything. Question what you learn in church. Question. Do not blindly follow anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if something is like, like coming against your beliefs, don't be like, well, I don't like that because I don't believe in that. Lean into that and learn. Why is it that you don't like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're open to receiving a new idea, when you stay in resistance, you're not open to receiving a new idea. But when you're open to thinking a different way, when you're open to saying, you know what, I don't believe that shit, but let me listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
And you go research and you start to learn on your own. That's the accountability. That's when you take ownership for, let me see this shit that I'm believing. I never questioned any of these beliefs. They were just given to me. You did not get to choose your parents. You did not get to choose what religion they practice. You did not get to choose what they taught you at home. You did not get to choose how much money they made. So you are the result of your parents' limitations.
Mm-hmm.
And we go through life perpetuating these thoughts and these mindsets without questioning them. You need to question everything. That's where your
Mm-hmm.
personal growth begins.
Yes, 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 yes. And so, kind of going off of that a little bit, and I know we talked about culture, and I know you speak a lot about identity and shifting identity. And so I'm wondering if you can maybe touch on some areas of clients that you've worked with or things that you've just seen in people that you've connected with and met with. Are there certain areas that are always like very difficult that this is where the identity shift needs to happen, or this is where this person is experiencing a lot of resistance, a lot of barriers? And have you kind of noticed a similarity in a lot of people, or is everybody kind of different?
There's two major places. It's always with the standards that they live their daily life and around money. There's a lot of money blocks, even for people that make a lot of money. So I'll start with the regular everyday things.
Mm-hmm.
Not having a standard for the way they live their life in any way. So you come home, you take off your shoes at the door. By the end of the week, you have 6 pairs of shoes at the door. Why? Take off your shoes, pick them up, and take them to your closet. You go to bed with dishes in the sink. Why? Then you wake up and there's clutter. It might be attracting bugs. You go to sleep, or you haven't swept your kitchen floor for God knows how long. And people walk in there barefoot and they got little rice grains and little crumbs sticking to their feet. Man, I hate that. Right? Women, you go places and you put your purse on the floor, or you don't care to ask for a purse holder or to put it on the hook. You don't make your bed. You don't take out the trash when it's full. You push it down further until it's so high that the lid can't close. And then you want to take out the trash. These are standards. And these standards, you don't have them because you tolerate shit you tolerate the shoes piling up at the door. You tolerate the smoke detector chirping for weeks and months. Instead of putting a 9-volt battery in there and stopping that smoke detector is designed to keep your family alive. It's not working when it's chirping. It doesn't work. So what does that say about what you think about your family? As far as you go, Dr. Alex, with what you teach, you haven't learned to look at your body as the machine that keeps you alive. You cannot ignore it. You've got to give it good fuel, not crappy bunch of carbs that are empty calories and making you fat and insulin resistant, right? So from the get-go, all of these daily behaviors, your car looking horrible, full of crap in the back seat, looks like a homeless person lives in the car, empty bags of food in the front, that you don't have a standard for how you show up in the world. So you don't show up for yourself. People deal with that from those very foundational things, whether they are poor or they have a lot of money. And the other thing, definitely the poor people deal with this, and people that have a lot of money deal with this when they're like, I have a lot of money, I'm really good where I'm at, and I don't want to drive my Range Rover to church. I just want to drive my little beat up Toyota Civic because I don't want to floss. So I only want to have the nice car for the weekend. What? You bought that car, you pay for it monthly. Drive your car. I don't want to put miles on it. Your car was meant to be driven. Yeah. When you think I don't want to put miles on my car, you're thinking scarcity. Let me hold on. Let me keep this car good as long as I can. The car depreciates every day, and you are an abundant being. You can buy another car when that one breaks, or when you want to trade it in. Right? I don't want people to judge me because I actually like Louis Vuitton. I like Yves Saint Laurent. I like Balenciaga stuff, but I don't want to buy it because I don't want anybody to judge me. Buy the stuff. What are you talking about? These are all money blocks, and these are shifts that we need to create here first so that we can step into being the person. If you were the person that owns all these luxury items now, if you acted like her now, why do you need to wait till you get there? And then when you get there, you start to say, I really want it, but I feel so guilty. Linda, why would I spend $3,000 on a purse? Oh my God, Linda, I feel so guilty if I spend money on myself and I don't give my kids things. Those are mindset shifts that all of my clients experience, that I see either the beginning part with the standard of excellence for their life, where they're tolerating bullshit, tolerating spider cobwebs on the ceiling. Just take a broom. Literally, you just need your broom, go like this, and they're gone. But you walk past them every day. These are things that are indicative of the mindsets that you have where you just tolerate crap. You make a lot of money, but you drive a shitty car. Why? Because you're still stuck in that time when you were broke and struggling. Why? Because you didn't meet Linda. That's why. But now that you've met me, you can't act like you ain't know, boo.
Right. You can't help but pay attention to this shit now. And that's what I absolutely love. And that's what I love about putting this type of information out there, because more people need to hear this, because it's, once you hear it, and if you're that person, and I don't know, we've had this conversation too before, if you're that person that could take and hear something and apply it and implement it, your life can change, like today, like we were talking about earlier in the show, like in an instant, your life can change. It just takes one decision, one action, and everything can change for you.
Let me speak into what you're explaining, okay? Because it's a little deeper than that.
Sure.
When you hear this conversation, let's just use this particular conversation right now. You're watching the replay or you're catching us live. And a lot of the things that I've said or Dr. Alex has said, they make you go like this. Huh. That is called insight. Transformation cannot happen without insight. So insight has a sound. It's usually or wow. But usually it's or a phrase, man, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yep.
But usually it's always when you catch yourself going that is the moment of transformation. That is the moment that you receive the transformation. That moment. Transformation, shifting cannot happen without insight. And I am an expert at watching my client's body language, listening with the intention to hear or hearing to listen, whichever way you want to say it. And I go, stop right there, Alex, stop right there. Listen to what you just said. You see what you said? You went, let's talk about that. What just shifted for you? Because we tend to overlook that. Until I just explained to you how you receive transformation, you did not know the process, how it happens. You won't be able to do it on your own. It requires an expert person listening to you, watching your body language, going, something just happened right there. What's going through your mind? Right, Alex, how many times do I tell you what's going through your mind?
Yeah.
Tell me. Right? Yeah. I want to know, because that's where the transformation lies, in the reframing, getting rid of what you used to think about the thing and now replacing it with this new thought. That's how you rewire your brain. Come on, man. This is what I love.
Yeah.
Human behavior is my jam.
No, I love that. No, I love that. And I think that's what's so valuable about working with someone who is an expert, because I notice, for me, you know, I'm stuck in my ways of thinking, and working with you has unblocked so many things for me. And it's the same thing when I'm working with clients. You know, they just go off and they're talking, and I'm like the one client I had who kept wanting to repeat her dairy free and her keto and her this and this. And she's like, well, this will work for me. And I was like, then why are you talking to me? If that worked for you, if that works for you, it obviously doesn't. Like, we need to stop that. And she was like, oh, she's like, okay. It's reframing things for people, and on your own it can be very difficult, and that's where working with somebody is so I'm telling you, it is priceless to be able to work with somebody who can spot those things, shine light on those things for you, and do exactly what we're doing in today's show for you on so many different topics. But that's what I love about this show. It's health, it's business. I feel like they're so related, and you can cross over and apply concepts to both of them so easily. And that's what I've loved about this show. And I know there's lots of hmms and ahas and wows in today's show. So I'm very thankful for that. I was wondering if you could kind of finish us out in today's show and talk about unstoppable, becoming unstoppable. What is that? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Becoming unstoppable is literally unleashing your full potential. Unleashing your full potential is going to require that you live in the gray area. There are no guarantees in the gray area. That's why it's gray. You don't know. It's unknown. It's going to require that you make decisions that you trust yourself, that you have enough information right now to make this decision, because there is no entire blueprint. Just like when you get in your car at night and you drive to the store, or you might be driving to another state, and your car's headlights only shine a certain number of feet ahead of your car. You don't see all the way to the grocery store, but you don't see all the way to the grocery store in the daytime either. Right? So you have your GPS, it's telling you where to turn and where to go. and your headlights are shining just several hundred feet ahead of your car, that's all you need to see. So unleashing your full potential is the same way. You only need to see the 3 steps ahead of you and move forward. You don't need to see the 38 steps that's going to require to get to your end result. You just need the first 3, boo. And as you move forward, the next 3 will be available to you, and the next 3 and the next 3. And that's when you have a mentor, a coach, right? Someone who can guide you. That is what being unstoppable is. It's not listening to your fears. It's like, thank you, fear, right? Because fear is designed to keep you alive. Fear is a normal response. And if you ever see a bear or a tiger, you're going to have to decide to fight or flight. You probably will flight, right? So, so that's when fear is helpful. But normally fear, there's not a bear, there's not a tiger in your living room when you're making the decision to go back to school, when you're making the decision to leave that awful relationship, when you're making the decision to stand up for yourself and speak to your parents and tell them they're not going to continue to do this to you. You know, there's no tiger or bear in your living room when you're deciding these things. Right? So being unstoppable is that unleashing your full potential, living in the great area. People want to stay in their comfort zone. Unleashing your potential and becoming unstoppable is outside of your comfort zone. It's in that scary area. And I just want to say this, that the law of cause and effect is always at play in your life. It will never stop being at play in your life. So if you don't like the effects that are in your life right now, your bank account, your credit score, your weight, the men that you choose, the women that you choose, how your kids are responding, if you don't like any of that, understand that you were the cause. And you can always change the effect. Right? But we want to live in victim mode. That's not unstoppable. That's making excuses and pointing the finger about what everybody else did to me. You are always the cause. It is not anyone else. It is not what they did to you. And so to become unstoppable, you have to understand I'm the cause, and I'm going to cause amazing shit so I can get amazing effects.
Exactly. I love that. Thank you. So, Ms. Linda, what do you have any cool things coming up? Anything that we should know about, be looking out for coming up soon?
Yes, in April, I have a weekend retreat. Is for people who are already in business, who are having difficulty getting on sales calls and closing sales. They're talking to people that are not qualified. And so it's a sales weekend where they're going to walk away with their entire sales system set up so they never speak to a tire kicker again. It's for people who already have a proven offer or service that they sell, and they're being stuck, like they're going months without making sales, and they want to, like, Linda, how do I make sales? How do I become like one of your clients? And so without having to pay the hefty $30,000 price tag, we can do that in a group format in a weekend. So that's coming up in April. People can find me on Facebook. My name is here, right? I don't know if my name is showing. It's Linda Hayles. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok, y'all. I'm learning. First of all, Dr. Alex, I just want to shout you out because you take so much action. I send you all these TikToks that we should make, and then you make them, and I'm like, I'm not making any TikToks. What is my life about? So I'm going to blame it on the age difference. I'm just going to say I'm old, but that's an excuse. So that's why my TikTok is taken off, because I can't use that as an excuse anymore. But yeah, you can find me on any platform. My name, Linda Hayles, Hayles, and connect with me so I can send you any information about that retreat. I don't have a sales page. There's nothing that I sell that you can actually go buy. Everything that you ever want to buy from me is through a one-on-one call. That's how I filter out all the wrong people, all the people that need Jesus. Look, if you need Jesus, go get Jesus and come back.
Oh my gosh. All right. I have loved today's topic, and I really wanted to touch on accountability for sure. And it's not really about accountability. It's about ownership. Everybody thinks they need more accountability and all this external stuff. It really does start from within. Truly, it does. So, and having good influences like Miss Linda Hayles in your life does not hurt at all.
Hey,
so, all right. Yes.
I want to say there's people, or one particular person who's been commenting a lot. I think they're commenting from LinkedIn. Stay connected, listen to podcasts, buy books, right? And then there's going to come a time where you're going to have to invest, take your own money and invest in someone holding you by the hand and helping you shatter those limiting beliefs, mindset blocks. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Take ownership. This is what this live stream is about, taking ownership. You got to be accountable to yourself. If you're expecting someone else to keep you accountable, boo, it's not going to happen. Everybody else has their own life to be accountable to. So anyway, I love you. Thank you for inviting me to your show today.
Oh, you're so welcome. No, I love that you ended with that because it is so true. Because I'm the same way. I have a lot of people who watch my live streams or my videos, and it's like, yes, I love that you're watching, but take some action, implement, do something, invest in yourself, stop sitting on the sideline, jump in there, get in there, do it, change your life, save your life. That's what I always love to tell people because 100% fucking true. You need to be the one to save your own life. Ain't nobody gonna save it for you.
That's correct.
Get busy. All right, guys, that is all we have for today for In Your Business with Dr. Alex. I want to thank my lovely guest, Miss Linda Hayles. Thank you so much, seriously, for your time. I appreciate it so, so very much. And like we always say, for a balanced life, just add